This week in comic books, Ra's al Ghul becomes an extreme environmentalist in the worst possible way. I'm going to spend a second on that one just as a precursor and warning. Also in the lands of Marvel over at Tiger Division number 5, we get, oh, it's so good. It is just so good. More people need to be reading it. Oh, so good. And in the land of Independence, we get Dead Romans. How do you tell the story of Troy but make it not so weak, right? Romans and Germanic tribes from the past. Oh, it's good. It's good. But first, if you don't mind, please allow me to do a pitch to get you to buy some coffee real quick.
Cheers. How you doing today? Coffee brand coffee. Very good. Must say. Go get yourself some.
Okay, you wonderful weirdos. It's a new week of comic books. But before we dive into it, I just have one more favor. I know it's a lot. It's like YouTubers ask a lot from you, I know. But at the end of this video, I want to have a quick conversation with you about a possible affiliate. And I kind of want to know if this would be something interesting. I know a lot of you are dual watchers of my comic review and my other channel, Evil Air Projects and Builds. And I'm thinking about moving a sponsor to over there. But what's the point if it's not useful, right? So I want to kind of get that dialect going to see if any of this would be useful to you. So definitely let me know in the comments below at the end of the video. So let's jump into this week's comic book haul and review. We're going to start off with One Bad Day, Ra's al Ghul. I thought this was great. I thought the messaging behind it was a little, it just shows what somebody actually doesn't know about saving the environment and environmentalism, to be honest with you. I mean that wholeheartedly. But the story in here was very heartful. Ra's al Ghul's going to go around and just kill the heads of a bunch of corporations that he's deemed are a threat to the planet and the destruction of it, right? He's an environmentalist in this particular issue now. And because he's lived 700, some odd years, he has a better understanding of it. We'll move on past that. I'm not going to hit you yet with facts. And in this, he also kills Batman in this, in front of Damian, which just broke his heart, right? And the whole don't kill people thing came up as Batman was taking his dying breaths, which I thought was heartfelt. And then the whole thing ends with Ra's al Ghul killing himself at the end of the story just to be resurrected, and another Lazarus put in a hideaway place in China. Okay, so what's my hang up with this story? To fix the environment, first off, we're working on it. People are working on it. Like, this stuff does not happen overnight. We have more trees now than we had 150 years ago. You can check the U.S. Forestry Department for that, by the way. We've also started building better electric cars. The first electric car was built in 1890. We finally got to where they're somewhat efficient, and they're still not 100% more efficient than, say, a gas-powered vehicle yet. Again, the future is very bright for this stuff. But this whole kill people, right, to better the environment, I can't get on board with that. That's a little rough. I'm kind of in Batman's camp on that. Like, remember, CEOs of companies, right, are at the whim of the market. The market's you. You decide what the products that you want to buy and sell. So if you have a problem with the company because they ethically source things incorrectly or whatever the case may be, don't buy the product. It's right. The business goes away after a while, or they'll catch a hint and change gears. But until technology catches up with the whims and demands of people, unfortunately, that's where we're at. That's the reality of it. Like, oh, I know that's horrible, right? It's a horrible take, but it's really the truth. In no means should we slow down. I'm not saying that in any way. Like I am an environment. Well, I'm a casual environmentalist. Like, I do my best here that I can do. So yeah, all in all, I think it was a good story, but I just felt like the writer was kind of pushing on certain points that I don't think they really understood very well. And that happens, right? When you're writing a fictional story, it should be fun and whimsical to some degree, but like certain phrases just kept getting uttered in there, and that's usually what you do with propaganda. So again, like the story, horrible messaging. Next, Superman number 2. Let's talk about something I like. Superman number 2. Are you reading this? Have you read one yet? Jumping into this? So if you don't know, parasites at Thingacamp. And not just one parasite. An army of the character Parasite. They just suck energy and life from anything and everything. And how awesome is that concept? Because now Superman can have all the power in the world. Because all you are at the end of the day is a Thanksgiving dinner to this thing. And then a multitude of them. And then he evolves in this as well and can infect people. So now we got kind of a zombie story. A really hybrid zombie story. And I really like this concept. Because we're not dealing with having to deal with the walking animated dead in this. We're dealing with a power draining thing. Super cool. I really love this kind of whole new group of mad scientists with their kind of working title and the banter that they had back and forth in it and why they are doing all this and who's really calling the shots in it. There's some sadisticness behind it. There's an obvious plan and some thought, and they don't, like most villain groups, they don't necessarily trust or get along with each other, which I think is going to be important. And of course, like Luthor is doing his, he knows he can talk at a normal level and anywhere Superman's going to hear him, and he's like, hey, you need to break me out of jail so I can help you with this. He's trying to be of help. Maybe. Probably not. There's probably more of a plan to it. And this whole Superman core thing, the more and more I think about it, I don't know if I like it or not. Because they haven't really done anything except for announce it, right? And then the power went off into place. So I don't know yet. I think that's going to come off kind of cheesy at first, but I hope they're able to do something really cool with it, like make them the bad guys or something. Oh, and we're going to be getting some Bizarro stuff happening soon because they're dissecting Bizarro. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Doctor Strange, #1. Those were my only 2 DCs this week, so I had to get me some Doctor Strange #1. It's the first issue, and the first issue is pretty much what you would expect from somebody coming back from the dead. Doctor's in his dailies, working with different superheroes, doing different things like that. One would even say it was kind of boring. But I was kind of curious how this whole relationship with him and his new wife, right? I think she's calling herself the Warlord of Manhattan or something like that. She was the Doctor Strange while he was away, whole thing, right? But they're working together, and I really like this dynamic that they have. One's more violent than the other one in the whole case. But what really kind of set this one off is we had a bunch of, I'm going to go ahead and say refugees, for lack of a better word, from another dimension come to ours. And the ruler of that dimension is like, nah, I want my slaves back. That's a bad thing, right? We don't like that. So to keep the people from going there, Strange shows up with his wife and zaps everybody back to his house. Very selfless. I'll give him that. I don't know if I would be that nice. And then they decide that they're going to go have a talk with Agamemnon. Agamon? I'm going to go with Agamon on this one. They go have a chit chat with him, and he just, for the sake of doing it, kills one of these poor people right in front of them. This obviously sets off Mrs. Strange. She's more of the warrior one in this, and whereas Doctor Strange is more of the passive, let's plan this out. That creates a little friction between them, but somebody ends up killing Agamemnon at the end of the story, and he even said Strange. So my question is, there was a run not too long ago where we had a young Doctor Strange running around. So is it that young Doctor Strange? I'm sure it's going to be dimensional stuff. Oh, I think we've had enough of that, but more than likely from another part of the multiverse or something. Oh, I hope not. I hope they do the young thing where they bring that guy back. Yeah. Okay, next, Joe Fixit. So this is an in-between issue, which I was surprised at issue 3. But it is, I believe this is a limited series, so we'll allow it. So all we did was get a quick flashback in the beginning about how this one time Spider-Man and the Hulk, he was the Hulk then, kind of worked together and kind of did a thing, right? Nothing major. Then we speed into today's time frame, and we learn more about this weird powder that was thrown in Joe Fixit's face, where Spider-Man had to kind of interact in this whole situation, right? Because a whole boogaloo kind of broke off there. So we get the message from it, and then we immediately go to the doctor to find out, how do we cure it? And then the doctor's like, well, we didn't really come up with a cure when we made this. Kingpin just told me to make it do this. Didn't care for, I'm the mad scientist guy here. I don't really do that. I liked that part. That was actually kind of cool. But for the most part, what we're trying to do now is we're just trying to get Joe Fixit to be Joe Fixit again. But during this whole entire thing, he's also doing his little mind consciousness thing where he's arguing with Bruce Banner, yada yada, back and forth. And to get kind of the effects of the powder out of the way, Bruce Banner took over. Unfortunately, it's while he was falling from a building. And then cutscene, next issue. I say it was an in-between issue because there was a lot of just stuff from the past and a lot of explanation in here. So I'm not saying it was bad in any way. I'm just saying for an issue 3, it was just an informational dump so they can push the story forward. I am having trouble talking today, so please excuse this one. But just to kind of push the narrative forward, I understood that. And it being a limited story, that makes sense too, I guess. Next, pick of the week, Tiger Division. That's right, we brought in Dr. Doom. This is a fantastic story, and this is the end of this particular arc here. And I thought everything was just perfect enough. We had 2 old friends turned into enemies. We got a whole Xavier Magneto thing kind of going on now. Dr. Doom shows up. The bad guy friend is like, nah, don't hurt my friend. Tries to save him, but by no means did they reconcile in any way. They just went different ways in this. And all this over some gem and getting some power. Biggest message in here is, and I've always said this before, the best disinfectant is sunlight, right? Just bam, right? And keeping secrets in your past and those things popping back up really brings everybody else down when you're trying to accomplish something. And that was highlighted in this comic book, and I thought that was a really great message. If it needs to be said, then it just needs to be said. You're just going to have to eat it, especially if it's, embarrassing or something along those lines. Like you lived a bad life, you did bad things. Now you're trying to do good things, but you don't want nobody to know you used to do bad things. But you keep talking about how you're going to fix bad things and nobody knows where your experience comes from. Kind of covered in here. You guys might want to peek at that. Okay. Next, Amazing Spider-Man. I like this issue. As we all know, I'm not a big fan of woo-woo. However, I do have a fascination with like symbols and symbology, right? From Masonic lodges to cryptic writings. I always like symbology, more as a piece of artwork. Here we kind of takes the place of math, right? And talks about quantum realms. I think the book overused a lot of science terms in here. Like they just stuck quantum, symbolism, something or other like together. A lot of woo-woo-ness in here. But I really like this old god here that kind of came out, the god of scab and bone, and his kind of whole mannerism of humanity just being something to serve him, because he is, right? And of course they're dealing with multi-dimensional stuff here because it's a Spider-Man story. And that's pretty much every Spider-Man story now. They could have done away with it, just whatever. Gonna leave that one alone. But I really like this whole concept of God and servant and the God and the defiance of God and then the way they just kind of sprinkled in symbology around it. I thought they did a really good job of it. And I've been wanting to say something good about a Spider-Man book for a while now. Like, I know, I've been rough on him. This was legitimately pretty good. I still can't say it was great. I'm waiting. All right, going into Independence, we get, this was good. Dead Romans. So this is a way to tell the story of Troy, the 2 countries that went to war over a woman. This is how I guess you could actually say updated, even though it's during the Roman Empire and Germanic tribes of the time. But it's kind of the same concept. There's a woman. The Roman guy likes her. The Germanic tribe guy likes her, the chieftain, if you will. And they both want the woman. Now, before you go and start thinking that this is a woman victimization story, no, they drop this off where we're going to get a heroine real quick. And she's going to kick some butt. And I'm kind of excited to see that. But for the most part, it's a pretty generic story. Fight, pull back, fight some more, pull back. Where's the woman? That's pretty much where you're at. It's a 2-dimensional story, but I really like the way this kind of focuses on the 2 attitudes of both of the people in charge and kind of leaves the woman kind of underlined for right now so she can really shine in the next issues. I think that's what's going to happen. That's my hope anyway. I have hope. So let's see where that goes. All right, next. Blue Book. So if you don't know, I've mentioned this book during issue 1. This is basically the main story that kind of drives this. The main vein is the Hill incident with Barney and Betty Hill back in the day being abducted by aliens, and they kind of clarify why their story kind of changed a little bit in here. It kind of gives us the perspective that Mr. Hill didn't really want to express his story very much. They're kind of going down that path. So, you tell the Air Force only so much, and then when they kind of close the case on it and file it away, you kind of tell this other guy the whole story, right? I get that. I get that. If alien abductions were real, I would understand that. They also kind of cut into another story here about the Wool Pit kids from Suffolk, England. This is a classic conspiracy evidence, is what they generally point to it as, of other dimensional people. Two kids that were some sort of shade of green, only AP, spoke a different language, the whole 9 yards. It's very well recorded throughout YouTube, with about every piece of speculation you can possibly throw in there, from aliens to dimensional beings to whatever. Oh, there's one for the Hollow Earth as well. They're from Hollow Earth. Again, I'm reading a comic book, so I only take this stuff so far. I'm not one. I don't think aliens find us particularly interesting. If they are out there, I don't see why they would, or why they would find our ancient ancestors more interesting than us today. I don't really know. But again, this is a personal opinion. Please don't be offended by it. Alright, last but not least, still my ongoing series that I've absolutely been enjoying, and this was something I hoped they would do, and they did it, and thank you for it. So they did the thing in here. They did the thing where they kind of play with reality. There's a spell, apparently, called the Paradise Spell, and it makes you think that you're in the best possible scenario, right in your head. This one being in a psychiatric ward, hey, you're really crazy. You're not a magical person. There's no magic around you. You drink a lot, you already know. You misuse your pills, you already knew that. So there's that bit of reality in this little fantasy world, and they're trying to help. And he keeps jumping in and out of it throughout the book. To the point where I was like, oh man, he may just be some psycho in a psych ward someplace. Man, that would really ruin the story. I just wanted you to play with the concept. And then, bam, nope, you are in a magical world. By the way, I'm the bad guy you've been looking for. And, yeah, I'm going to let you live so I can fight you later. Kind of ride or die. Like, join me or die type of thing. Lay down, get down or lay down, right? I haven't said that in forever. I'm so happy I said that. So that's what's kind of going on now with the bad guy here. And of course, his main focus in this is just getting to his wife to make sure she's okay. And of course, she's been abducted. So now I got a feeling it's about to hit the fan, and we're going to go into this full bore, and I am excited. So that's my comic book haul and review for this week. Last, I want to say my Planet Comic Con haul video will be out in the next few days, so you definitely want to hit that notification bell. You want to see the stuff that I got. I got some good stuff. Mostly got my wife's stuff, but I think you'll like it too. Also, about the affiliate thing. So as you know, I have an affiliate, Coffee Brain Coffee. Love their coffee. Love them as a sponsor. Happy to do reads for it or even affiliate link. But over at Evil Layer Projects and Builds, I have an offer from a tool company that has several brand tools in it online. They've been known forever. They're an established company, and they have fair pricing. This is the best I can do. I can't tell you if they have the lowest price because I can't answer for every store out there. They're cheaper than most box stores. That much I'm comfortable in saying, and they're quality brands. So you're looking at like DeWalt, Makita, like you're not looking at like cheap stuff like Chicago or something like that. And I was wondering if people need tools out there. Like, I don't want to put an affiliate link down there for something that people don't watch. So if you have an opinion about it, a suggestion, or anything along those lines, like, do you have trouble finding quality tools at a reasonable price? It sounds like I'm already ad reading for them, and I didn't want to come off that way. But I'm thinking about it because we're doing stuff over there, making things, and I got to thinking, what if somebody doesn't have a skill saw or something along those lines? Would they even know what to look for when they buy one? Is there a site we can go to where you can ask a question, which you can on this particular affiliate? So, yeah, kind of thinking about it. Love to know what you think. Love to hear back from you. and see what we can do with that. So definitely. Other than that, folks, I got nothing else. I got to jet out of here. It's steak and potato night. Okay, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.